And later on, I went for a worship service one morning, and the person who was sharing was talking about Genesis, where Abraham was looking for a wife for Isaac. And in the middle of the service, this lady, it was a pastor who was preaching. She said that there's somebody here. God is saying your wife will come knocking at your door. So when we first met, I had no intention that she's my wife. I didn't know her. So fast forward, we've served. We meet once a week. We interact. In the course, we got to do a lot of things as leaders in church, and I enjoyed her company. She was a good friend, and so one day, about 6 months later, I come across the list. I was just cleaning up the house, and then I just wrote on top, Emma. And I was surprised it was word for word and in order, the 10 things I was looking for in a spouse. But there was something amiss. She was a single mom. She had a daughter. So I asked God, this list, there's nowhere a child was involved. So, and for about a couple of weeks, I battled with that, what a coincidence that she has fitted this 10. And so God convicted me. So I told her I want to visit her daughter in school when she's going to visit, as the way parents go and visit. But I didn't hint anything. Because in my heart I said, if we don't get along, I'll know it's a bad coincidence. But if we get along, I'll know she's the one. So we met this beautiful girl, very shy, very quiet.
Like the mother.
Yeah, so we hit it off, and that was, for me, was one of the confirmations. And so that is how we met. And with time now, I proposed to her. I had not proposed to her, and I have not told her you're my girl.
We were just
friends,
volunteers in church,
we were just
serving as leaders of small groups. Small groups are our fellowships that we have once a week, and people volunteer to host in their house. So as I mentioned earlier on, we were just leaders. We were just leaders, and maybe I can share on my part. For me, I had really, before turning 30, I had really wanted to get married. Like for 5 years, I kept on praying for a husband. But it reached a point, I said, you know what, God, even Paul served you and he was single, yeah? And I said, if it is your will for me to serve you as a single mother, then I'm okay. I was so content with my life. I enjoyed my life. That time we were not in ministry. I was serving as a HR in an oil industry, but serving in church, looking for every opportunity to just go and give of my services to church. So at that point, I wasn't looking, and maybe that's why our story is so unique. I wasn't looking. I was only serving God, and I told God, if it is your will for me to get married, you will bring that man. I will not even struggle. I will not even pray about it, because I've prayed, and I reached a point, I said, you know what, it's never that serious. I can still enjoy my life as a single mother, give my daughter the best life, get her to a very nice school, just focus on her, my career growth, and just be happy. So we were not even thinking, like both of us were not thinking of marriage in terms of, because even him, I don't know whether I can share it, even him had tried to date, but it wasn't working until now. He came across that video by TD Jakes, and he also settled. Like 3 years, it's amazing. For me, 3 years before that, I said, I'm content. I will serve God as a single mom. And for him, he had said, you know what, until I meet this person with this list, let me also just focus on God. So both of us signed up to host and just to serve God. So at that moment, even when we were going to visit our daughter right now in school, we actually went with him and his cousin, and in my mind, I was so clear. in fact, I met one of the fellowship days. We met an auntie of his there, but a young. She was small-bodied, so me I even thought she was his girlfriend. Yeah, like for me, I was so clear. Me nataka tu serve God. I just want to serve God in this space. I didn't sitaki kujipatia my hopes. Yeah, so it was just purely serving God. So even when we went to visit our daughter, I didn't know. So now he told me much later. So when he got that list and he told me that I'm his wife, you know, like it was like, oh yeah. And then now, yeah, immediately, like, I told him I also want to confirm. I didn't have a list, but I really needed a man who is prayerful. I needed a man who would love my daughter like his own. Now, in that season, I was praying for a spouse. I really wanted a man who loves my daughter like his own, but first of all, loves God. And I had confirmed he really loves God. So even by the time we were going to visit my daughter in school, they connected, and my daughter was shy. She never used to, you know, in fact, as she was growing up, I'm the one who used to get for her friends. Yeah, that's how I was making that fun that she's quite like me. I would knock the neighbors like, can my child pray with you? You know, like I got for her friends. So when they connected for me, like, wow. I didn't think of marriage at that time, but now when he told me and I looked back in retrospect is when I realized actually they connected. Yeah. But yeah, so that's how we so what we did, we actually called our pastor again, and you know, he had asked, and I laughed it off because I think God showed him or something, because now we told him we want to buy you, we want to meet you for pizza, and we met at Oil Libya. That time it was called Oil Libya. Now it's what? Ola. Yeah, so we met up for Bellevue, and he started laughing. So for us, we just went straight into courtship. We didn't date. It was just pap. We're thinking of now, yeah, getting married.
Yeah, I think for us, because I think one thing about relationships, once you know what you want, you need to define or take charge of where you want to go. And so for me, I think I'd spend enough time with her, doing a lot of ministry. So I felt dating is when you get to know someone. I felt like I'd already gotten to know her. And one of the best ways to date is when you're meeting without going to a restaurant. Because when you go to a restaurant, you bring your best food forward, and there's so much, there are a lot of distractions. So I proposed to her. We went to a nice restaurant, and once she agreed, we began that journey of courtship. So we spoke to our pastor, and then from there we began our thinking through how to go about it.